For more than 60 years, NewCap has been helping low-income residents in our area with things like housing, home weatherization, and medical care. In 2024, the most recent data available, NewCap received $13.9 million from the government to carry out its work.
It was a hard pill to swallow to know that, you're being told, hey, you're going to help so many people. We're such a great team here, and we believe in lending a hand to whoever needs it. You wake up from that dream and you realize that it's an absolute disaster of what really goes on there.
Evan Dudek didn't stay long working at NewCap, but he shares similar experiences as at least a dozen other former employees we've spoken to over the last several weeks.
The funds between the different departments was being shifted around. It was being shifted around quite often.
Dudek worked about 5 months at NewCap's Shauna location, helping clients in need of interim housing. The practice of shifting government funds awarded for a specific purpose from one department to another is also what a former NewCap employee of 16 years told us.
I think that programs at NewCap tend to rob Peter to pay Paul. That because of the blending and braiding, you never know what's there. It's like living paycheck to paycheck.
Blending and braiding means combining two or more sources of funding. The U.S. Department of Labor talks about it on its website as an approved way to maximize the efficient and effective use of federal funds across systems. Peggy, who asked we not show her face or use her last name at the request of her current employer, says she believes her former boss, NewCap CEO Cheryl Dietrich, took blending and braiding to an inappropriate level.
What she meant by blending and braiding was now I'm still billing my time to transportation. Even though every time I talk to this person, it's about housing. It's not about transportation.
Weeks before she was put on administrative leave, Dietrich declined our request for an on-camera interview, but agreed to answer any questions we had over email. She tells us staff time is allocated based on documented allowable activities in compliance with federal and state cost allocation requirements. She says NewCap's whole family model allows certain cross-program support activities when they are permitted under grant rules and properly documented. Another alleged example of money not being used as it was supposed to has to do with NewCap Builds. Dietrich explains the entity to Fox 11 as a for-profit social enterprise created to generate unrestricted revenue through construction-related work in support of NewCap's mission. She says it operates separately from NewCap's core nonprofit programs and follows applicable corporate and governance requirements. We're told Dietrich's ex-husband Robert leads NewCap Builds. Tax documents show NewCap paid him $100,000 in 2024 as its VP of Construction and Safety. Two former employees who spoke with Fox 11 off-camera under the condition they remain anonymous allege NewCap Builds was able to get off the ground by using NewCap funding and resources. They also claim NewCap Builds used NewCap's tax-exempt status to purchase materials and NewCap's funding to pay its workers. More recently, NewCap Builds took out loans to pay NewCap expenses, helping cover the deficit it's been operating at the past few years, according to the former workers. We texted Dietrich questions about each of these specific allegations. She hasn't responded to any of our questions or messages since she was put on administrative leave. Almost all the former employees we spoke with before our stories on NewCap started to air, and all the former employees that reached out to us in response after, mentioned NewCap Builds in some sort of way. Most saying that they didn't like the way it was set up, especially when they learned NewCap Builds renovated the personal home of Dietrich.
Many employees questioned this. It wasn't one room, it was pretty much her whole home. And I do know that there was negotiations over what was billed.
Dietrich described the work NewCap Builds performed as limited. She said she received written bids, the work was invoiced, and she paid in full. The arrangement was reviewed by the board of directors. Fox 11 verified that with a board member who told us everything seemed to check out at the time, and they even ran the numbers by friends who were in the construction industry.
It sure doesn't look good.
The two former employees who allege NewCap funding was used for NewCap Builds say they believe the for-profit entity owes the nonprofit $256,000. Several former and current NewCap employees tell us a lack of funds for programs the agency was granted money for has become commonplace. A plumber tells Fox 11 he had to lay off a worker and cut the pay for others as a result of NewCap not paying him $70,000 for 7 months. A former employee tells us their last duty for the nonprofit was to sell a property quickly so the money could be used to cover payroll. They say as a result of the circumstances, the property sold well below market value.
I mean, we all saw firsthand. We had to turn people away who were looking for help, and there just wasn't money to do it.
How did that make you feel?
Horrible. It made all of us feel horrible. Everybody that goes into working for NewCap, we all want to make a difference. We all want to help.
The Wisconsin Department of Administration tells Fox 11, based on information it received late last year, DOA is undertaking enhanced financial monitoring of NewCap, including requiring comprehensive financial and program administrative reviews of the Weatherization Assistance Program, as well as review of financial documentation to ensure that NewCap is complying with programmatic requirements. We're told that move from the state is not common. Typically, NewCap receives its weatherization funding right away, so it can pay for upfront construction costs. We're told under enhanced monitoring, NewCap first has to show documentation of its expenses, then it receives the money. We're going to continue to keep an eye on this situation and bring you updates as we have them. For Fox 11 Investigates, I'm Ben Krumholz.